Yeah, they'll just have to use the site because I'm looking for a shareable button. I can't find one.
Alrighty, well I think we are live because it says live on my screen. Except Spatcher, he's a zombie. But no, this is a.
Where do I even find this? I'm on the home page of your thing, and it's not saying anything live here.
Yeah, we're both looking on two different devices.
Okay, well on my screen says live, so let's get started. People who are listening to this, welcome. This is a live Total OS Today live event number 4. I did 3 of these last year solo, and I got very lonely, so all of my friends are here for this evening. Welcome back. This is a combination fundraiser and frequently asked questions. One of our terrific community members, Matthew Moore, specifically his wife, had came up with a unexpected medical emergency. I just found out about this a week or so ago. So we are running a donation drive for this evening. In exchange, we will offer you for the hour or more some free tech support answers if you have questions about, say, Chrome OS, Windows, Linux, dual booting, stuff like that. Since all of us dual boot, well, except Spatry. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's the one that needs medical help, but no. Hello, everyone, and welcome. So Spatry's making a funny face. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick? Go ahead.
Who do you want to start with, us?
Sure.
Okay. Well, most people already know me, Matthew Moore. I got mattstechhub.com. I have the YouTube channel, and this is my better half, arguably. So
Arguably.
Uh-oh. I have to leave. Right. Goodbye. I started something.
No, you said this on video, so I have this forever.
Okay.
Okay. I'm his wife, Allison.
And it's evidence to use in divorce court.
Yes.
This is a family show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Spatry, and this is Cup of Linux.
Cult of Linux, right?
Whoa.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Who's next?
They're all muted.
Yeah, they're all muted, so I guess they don't.
Hello, I'm Ben, and I'm just here for the fun.
There we go. Now you guys are unmuted. Sorry.
Hello. I'm Ben, the Linux fan.
All right.
Yep.
What are we talking about?
All right. Why don't we get this started here? Matthew and Allison, explain to us exactly what happened.
Well, back in January, I was working, and unfortunately I twisted my ankle. And what started off as just, what should have just been a simple sprain turned into a blood clot. And unfortunately, the treatment for the blood clot put me in the hospital. Pretty much I almost died. Lost 45% of my blood. They had to give me 3 transfusions. The night I went in, I had a seizure. I went into shock. It wasn't looking good. I spent 5 days in the hospital, racked up a whole lot of bills on that one. And the other unfortunate thing is, from the ankle sprain itself, it looks like I have developed disorder, CPRS.
Complex regional things.
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
Well, what it is, not a lot of people get it, but what it is, there's really no test to find out if you have it. They judge by looking at your skin. If you have skin that's red, puffy, if it's painful to touch, mine looks pretty bad. It's painful to touch. It's red. It's swelled. I can't even, just it laying by itself, it's in a lot of pain. Forget touching it, it's even worse. And what it is just, it's pretty much just a lot of pain. Your nerves just aren't functioning properly, so they're sending pain signals everywhere. And there's treatment for it, but the issue with the treatment is not everybody responds to it. I could be looking at years of treatment, or this could be permanent, and I might not ever be able to walk again or work.
So we're into like experimental mode with the treatment, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
The first,
okay. Yeah.
I think the first thing they're going to do, they'll shoot the nerve full of Novocaine
Okay.
and deaden it to see if that helps any. Obviously, that's not a permanent solution because the Novocaine will wear off. If that deadens it, then they know for certain that that's exactly what it is, and what they can do is they can give me pain medication to treat it. But there's not really a cure, so to speak. There's just a lot of things to try to see if it will help it.
They can inject alcohol into the nerves through the leg to, on a more permanent basis, but the problem is it can spread to other parts of the body, so that's only going to help the pain in the leg. It's not going to prevent the actual condition.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the next, I think we talked briefly, your next appointment is coming up?
Yeah, it's Friday.
Okay. And then from there, where do you go from there?
From there, I have 2 more appointments next week with 2 different doctors to also assess the situation and to see how I'm progressing. After that, I'm assuming they're going to have me set up for, different sorts of treatment, and we'll see how I respond to that and what I can and can't do.
Okay. I know there are pretty significant costs involved with this. How much, now you said workman's comp is picking up most of it, but what's left? Yeah.
8%. There's 20% left. That's also including my pay. They're still paying me my salary. They're still paying me that. However, they have decreased that to the 80%. So I'm losing 20% of my pay every time I get paid. It kind of sucks when you live paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
Depend on that.
Nope.
Okay. Matt, go ahead and we talked about it briefly. What's the donation, the best way for people to help you out here?
Well, there is a donate button on my website, which is mattstechhub.com, all one word. There's a donate button on the right-hand side. That's what I've been using.
We can donate stuff.
So,
All right.
it's probably the best course to actually do donations. But I've also had one person send me some Bitcoins. I got a blockchain address, but I don't think that would be very useful because we can't really use that to buy medical supplies. So
the best way is through Matt's Tech Hub. Smatchy's got a little poster there, and there is a donate link, right?
Yep.
You guys read that because it looks backward on my screen.
Yes, it's forward on our screen.
Okay, good.
As a matter of fact, I can pull up a
Yeah, go ahead.
screen share.
The thing is,
I can show you exactly where it's at.
I tried to put the link in where people could click it on the live chat on YouTube, and it wouldn't let me put in any links. So, yeah, so you're going to have to visit matchtechhub.com, and the link is on the lower right corner of the page. Unfortunately, we couldn't put up an actual link.
Yeah, I have the site here on my screen. If you could see it, there's the URL.
Yes.
There's no apostrophe or anything. It's just all one word, matchtechhub.com. Down on the right-hand side, there's a little donate button right there. You click that, and it'll just shoot you over to PayPal. So that's pretty much. That's what I've been doing on Google Plus because some people wanted to contribute, and that's what they've been doing. So I figure we'll just keep doing that.
When, Allison or Matt, when would you guys think you'll get a better definitive answer if that's, I mean, like if that's even possible, treatment, when do you think that will happen, or how far do you think you need to go so you know exactly where you stand?
That's a good question, because it took 3 months just to get the appointment I have Friday. So I'm going in Friday. I'm hoping, what we're kind of hoping for is that the practitioner will see how bad it is and get the doctor involved, and then hopefully we could start treatment the following week. That's what
Okay.
we're hoping for. I'm not sure how that's really going to all pan out. I think it just all depends on what they say when they see me.
So this thing that happened, is this somewhat common, or it just happens at random, or what?
It's not very common. Most people don't get this. It's usually triggered by an accident or trauma, like what I had, a sprained ankle. Some people could get it from a heart attack. It's just something that happens with your body, and the nerves just get all screwy pretty much. And it's not widely known because not a lot of people get it. So that's why it's really hard to say, oh,
Okay.
well, there's a test definitive for this, but there's not.
Okay, and once again, officially, what's this thing called again?
Complex, what is it?
Complex regional pain syndrome. It used to be called, what, RSA or something?
Or I think the hormone, the RSD is what they
Yeah,
used to call it.
RSD is what it used to be called, but it's been renamed complex regional pain.
And there's 2 stages of it. I would have what they would call stage.
I've found plenty of videos on YouTube explaining what this is. The TV show Doctors even did an episode on this. So there's plenty of information out there that could explain what it is better than we could.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, we had talked briefly about the insurance situation down there in Virginia, well, at least down there from here. Now, explain to me what's going on there, why there wasn't much help for you down there.
well, a lot of people in the United States are getting help through the Affordable Care Act, but unfortunately here in Virginia, the governor did not extend Medicaid, so we don't get those subsidies. The cheapest insurance that we can find is about something around.
It's about $380,
Yeah, about,
and that only covered one of us.
yeah,
that wouldn't have covered.
that's $380 a month per person, and that
Right.
that had an $18,000 deductible. It's cheaper just to pay the doctors their monthly thing without insurance. So
Yeah.
that's what we did. I mean, when the $18,000 deductible, I mean, you can't afford to use the insurance. You know,
It's not much help, is it?
no. So that's the best that we can do down here. And originally, when she got injured, it was all covered because it was just a sprained ankle and happened.
Right. Right.
We're picking it up, but it's escalated to such an extreme level. Now they're just doing the 80% because that's what they're legally required to do. And that's it. The rest, the other 20% is on us.
What about these shots that you have to take?
Yeah, because of the blood clot that I got, I am on a blood thinner called Lovenox, which is a shot that I have to inject into my stomach nightly.
You have to do that?
Yes, I have to do it.
Okay.
And the shots themselves are about $1,200 a piece.
Oh my goodness, really?
And I have to be on them for a minimum of 3 months.
You have no choice.
Yes, I have no choice.
Yeah, that's once a day at $1,200 a pop.
Yes.
For
That's
3
highway
months.
robbery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah. The hospital bill was what, 26 grand?
Yeah, we received the hospital bill. It's $26,000. I do not know how much workers' comp is even going to cover, if they're going to cover any of it.
At the very best, they'll cover 80%.
Yeah.
Okay.
It still leaves quite a bit left over.
Yeah.
And then the medication and all that too. So.
Yeah, because 1 month of medication is over 30 grand.
Yeah.
You know, I don't often talk about you know, the health insurance thing in this country, but it seems to me that the healthcare system, at least here in this country, is, well, it's unhealthy. It's, I mean, it doesn't work, at least for many of us. I mean, you know, one of my friends, last 3 days in the hospital, did not have insurance. He's okay, but because of the governor here, I guess that helped pass this healthcare thing, the hospital told my friend, your hospital bills will be fully covered. Don't worry about that. However, he would have to pay for all the doctor visits and the doctor bills, but the hospital bills were covered. Now, he did jump on the healthcare.gov. I forget what he's paying. I'm going to say, and I don't think it's full coverage, but I'm saying I will guess he's paying less than $100 a month, which is not bad.
Yeah.
But, once again, in Ohio, we have the thingy, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, another member.
Can I interrupt for just a quick moment, guys?
Yeah.
Hold that thought. As a reminder for those of you who are watching this fundraiser, while we are discussing this, if you have any Linux questions, please feel free to put them into the chat. I'm monitoring the communications as they come in, and we'll start answering your Linux or any OS related questions, since Matthew also does Mac and Windows as well. I know I'll be able to answer some Linux questions. But,
thank you.
Windows
I forgot to interject that. Thank you, Spatry. Yeah.
Yeah, we got text.
Should I wait till maybe I had to wait a little bit, but I have a little surprise announcement I'm going to be making during the show, but I guess you guys are going to have to wait for that.
Yeah, let's I tell you what, let's go into the surprise tech support mode, say about 8:30. Sound good?
Yeah, it gives about 10 minutes, and then I have a surprise announcement I'm going to be making.
Oh, here it comes.
Well, not until it's time. Hey, no jumping the gun now.
Okay.
You know better.
Okay, go ahead, Matthew.
Well, we were talking about the Affordable Care Act. There's somebody in the Linux community here that got a deal for full coverage insurance for only $50 a month, but that's where it comes back to the state. That only works in states where the state has extended the Medicaid, Medicare, and stuff, and done that,
right?
And the Social Security and all that stuff. Our governor decided that they didn't want to do that. Of course, it's a Republican state, and because they didn't do that, we get no subsidies through Affordable Health Care Act. That's why the cheapest we can get is a heck of a lot more expensive than a lot of other people. So.
Let me just say this. I don't want to make this a political show, but personally, as a father, and as a community member, I don't believe that healthcare is a Democratic thing or a Republican thing. I think healthcare, your health, is a human thing, and maybe the healthcare system should be called a human care system, because that's all of us, regardless. I don't believe in political parties. It's just too much of a mess. Look at Congress, but that's for a different show.
And that's part of the reason why we're having so much trouble getting coverage, is because of these political parties. So
it would appear that way, Matthew. Yeah. So I don't know. I know it's gone back to the Supreme Court. So
it is not the political parties. It's the people lining their wallets. Come on. What it boils down to is corporate greed. Okay, the day somebody comes up with a cure for cancer, do you know how much money the pharmaceutical companies are going to be paying, hush money, to prevent people from getting that cure, when they can sell billions of dollars every year in palliatives?
Yeah, there's rumors that's already but we'll see.
It could be. It could be. Yeah. Anyway, maybe that discussion's for like another show.
Exactly.
Maybe part of a news and nonsense show, right?
Yeah,
stable or horse stable. Yeah, perfect for the news and nonsense report. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I see.
Go ahead.
Here on the feed here, Jeff Lennox Turner asks if there's a way to continue donations after this is over, and the website isn't going anywhere. It's the donate button's always going to be there. So
this isn't like Mission Impossible where this message will explode in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. So if you're watching this after the live event, everything's still there. It's you could still donate.
Yeah. Spatry here is the cheerleader with the with the science. Matt's Tech Hub. NoApostrophe.com. There is a donation link. Any amount will be appreciated.
Yeah.
It's for a good cause. So, and in exchange, we're going to answer some of your tech questions for free. The show is through 9 o'clock, but if there are questions to be answered, we'll probably stay a little longer. So.
Oh, by the way, I have something written on the other side of this sheet of paper, but I can't show it until it's
8:30. Okay. All right, that's coming up. Welcome, by the way. I want to say another welcome to all of the other guests here. Yeah. Thomas looks like he's having a really good time there, sitting down and just listening.
Yeah, I'm glad Jeff
Hello, Thomas.
hopped in because he said he wasn't even going to be able to make it, that he was working and stuff like that. And
yeah,
cool. Great to have him actually on the show. So, are all the seats taken? No. So, hey, Jeff, why don't you hop on in and say hi?
Yes, Spatry gave you permission. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Canada. You can talk a little bit about his health.
Fox, it's your show. You're the one giving the permission.
Oh, that's right. I got confused.
Yeah, this is total BS today, not Spatry's cult of Linux.
Matthew, that was a classic. Cult of Linux. Beautiful. I love it. That's
I am so gonna run with that one of these days. You watch.
So glad to be here.
We did that on that News and Nonsense episode.
About 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
That was fun. Cultoflinux.com and Total BS Today.
Right.
And that was a fun episode.
I've been called worse.
I have too.
Yeah.
As a reminder, we'll have another show Sunday night, so 8
I am sure all of our channels get an equal amount of trolling.
Definitely.
Oh, yes.
Probably by the same people, too.
You know, really, not as bad as it used to be when we before they turned it to G+ Tube. You know, because now you can put language filters on everything, and
it's a lot easier to ban people now, too.
Yeah, it's easier to ban people and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the thing is, I hated the way they changed the the comment system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I really hated it, and
It's not as user friendly.
I hate those linked comments. Every now and again, you'll get somebody that will be trolling you, and they'll leave a linked comment, and then you can't figure out how to mute it, block it, delete it. It's just there permanently, and it's I hate that.
Well, there's supposed to be some changes going on with Google Plus. You may have seen it. One of the heads, I guess, Google Plus might be split up into Google Stream, Photos, Videos, Maps, Hangouts. This sounds like a Godfather movie where you have like the Godfather, and then you have the heads of the 5 families. The 5 families being Maps, Streams, Google, Hangouts. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the end, but that should be very interesting to separate it.
Google's very fickle because, like the last 2-3 years, their entire effort has been to make all of these services come together using Google Plus.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they're doing the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't know what these guys are doing.
I like Google Plus. It seems like it's user friendly, but once they mismatched, they try to blend the YouTube thing. That's where it kind of confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, and forcing people to have an account to be
right.
That wasn't the best thing either. Some people are interested in YouTube, not Google Plus. Why make them have both?
Well, I guess we'll see what happens. I think the changes that there might be an announcement here coming up before summer. I'm all for anything that is more user friendly. Period. So
as long as it doesn't turn into another Facebook, I'll be all right with that. I think that's part of their problem, though, that they're trying to follow in Facebook's footsteps too much.
Right.
Most of us like Google Plus because it's not Facebook. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Google needs to be a leader, not a follower here. That's what.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we got about 3 minutes till we go into any tech support questions. Once again, if you are just joining us, there must be something wrong with you. No, I'm just kidding, just kidding. But please go to please go to mattstechhub.com, where you can donate for Matt's wife Allison rather extensive and expensive medical treatments. Matt, is it safe to assume that this can wind up into the hundreds of thousands of dollars?
If it goes on long enough, it might, because there's a lot of questionable gray area, a lot of loopholes that can come up with a condition like RSD. There's some cases where, it's a condition that's been dormant in your body and the injury triggered it.
Yeah.
They could use that as a loophole to stop giving any kind of coverage at all. I mean, they're only covering 80%.
Right.
It'd be a lot worse if they weren't covering anything.
The only thing we have going on that is all the doctors are saying that this happened because of the sprain.
And that's only because we keep pressuring them into documenting it that way.
But that's what happened, right? That's true. Okay.
I had problems before that happened, and then it just spiraled out of control. It went from a simple sprain to, it started as a sprain.
Right.
It came into the blood clot, and then they noticed something else was wrong with my foot because it wasn't getting better. So.
Yeah. Well, there's a question from Hippie
Crusher.
Hippie Crusher. He wanted to know what the name of the company is that makes the medication. It's Watson, and it's the generic Ino. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's Inozaraparin.
It's enoxaparin.
It says Desparin. I can't read from
It's enoxaparin.
Matthew, I sent you a message in the group chat if you get a chance.
Oh, random winner or highest contributor?
All right.
Okay.
I don't know. It depends on how many people. If there's a bunch of people, we can randomize it. If there's only a few people, we'll go with the highest.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Oh, did we let a cat out of the bag?
Maybe.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
We have officially a minute till 8:30. Oh, it's 8:30. Hey, it's party time.
8:30. Okay, it's Linux time. All right. Now I have an announcement to make, and we have some terrific members at cupoflinux.com, and one member donated some Steam keys for us to give away to the community.
Yeah.
And I feel that this is something that really, that really warrants some help from the community. And so I chose one of the titles that was donated, and we are going to award this as a prize, as a way of saying thank you to you who are contributing to this, because I.
Yep, your audio dropped.
Yeah, Mike. Spatchy, fix your mic. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why Google does that.
Yeah, Google does that quite a bit, but nothing that also Mixer can't fix.
Okay.
So, Matthew and Allison can really use your support, and as our way of saying thank you, and this will be Matthew's choice. We are going to give away a Steam key for Crisis 2. We're going to give away a Steam key for Crisis 2. We were either...
That's a good game, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, it's the Windows-only game, but...
Mike again.
Audio dropped again, Spatry.
Are you sure it's not Arch Linux?
Probably because my microphone is so close. I have done some checks on WineHQ, and apparently the game has had some gold rankings. So for those of you running Linux and you have a very high-end machine, you can try running it. But nonetheless, since Matthew's show supports Windows, Mac, and all this other stuff, I figured it would be appropriate to do that. So I guess the highest bidder then, Matthew? The highest bidder will win Crisis 2, and and the prize will be awarded at the end of this show. He's monitoring his emails, and whoever submits the highest donation will get the Steam key for this.
Yeah, my son has played that game. Yeah, that sounds great. My son certified that game years ago. It's a great game, by the way. I think he also bought Crisis 3. They both look good, so definitely it seems like a fun game to play. Yeah.
I have it on Android. And
Okay.
it is a cool game.
Yeah.
I have the Android version of the game, so yeah, it is very nice.
It looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And hopefully that'll be something that'll eventually get ported over to Linux, because if you know, and that's coming up for this weekend show, Saturday at 7 p.m. New York time on Mumble. A Cup of Linux is going to be talking about the state of Linux gaming, and when we and it has been less than a year since we've had a gaming discussion, and the titles that Steam has now has doubled.
Nice.
It has literally doubled. They have just passed 1,000 games, and if you count all of the mods and downloaded content, we're talking 1,800 and some odd titles that will run on Linux, and that can be roughly maybe a little bit more than 1/5.
Well, look, as soon as they get Halo Shmalo, count me in.
Well, they have that. That's called Metro.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, Linux questions? Any Linux questions?
Yeah,
or
we're here for the half hour. Yep. Anybody?
Yeah, we're here for another good half hour. So, if you have any questions, be sure to ask them.
If not, Spatry will start singing, and I have to leave.
No, I'm not going to do the NSA song again.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Well, Ben's here. Does Ben have something to say?
Well, I can do the drill.
Oh, where's my jackhammer?
Don't ask me why I have a drill at my desk, but...
It's kind of an inside joke. Me and Spatry, one of the news and nonsense reports we did on a personal app on the iPhone that we will not go into. I'll never forget it.
The one that measures certain health characteristics.
Yes, Ben says he's in a noisy room. Okay, Ben, thank you. Yes, healthcare. Sure, it measures health characteristics. No problem. Any other questions, or maybe we'll just make up our own frequently asked questions?
Yeah. All right.
Hello, Sam.
Okay.
Well, one of the questions I get is, why do I still dual boot? I think me and Matt, Spatry, sorry to see you go. So I'm just going to click you out of here. Matt, why do we dual boot? As if we don't know.
Well, why run one system when you don't have to? You know, there's some things, you know, as some people in the Linux community would hate to admit, there's still some things that Windows does better. So why limit yourself to one platform when you can just run both? You know, I mean, you know, Windows is better at some gaming. It's better with compatibility with some commercial software.
Yeah.
So run that for doing that kind of stuff. Run Linux for everything else, and you know you could have the best of both worlds.
Sam says it's geeky awesomeness. Oh, for sure.
I think it's time for the rant shades. Hold on.
Yes. The Seeker over here, he's watching. He just left a comment that I've had problems with this. He's had problems with this. Fishman loves Linux has had a problem with this. And that's in Manjaro. There's been a lot of difficulty trying to get printers working properly.
Yes.
Especially under the HP LIP software. Now, when it comes to standard printers, I've actually solved this by there's a post on the wiki page.
Okay, Thomas, bye. Yeah, he has to go. Cool.
there was a post on the Manjaro wiki that basically instructed you to remove all of the current cups engine and replace it with the stock cups engine from the repos, and that fixed that problem. But there's still an issue getting that to work properly with the HPLIP driver software. I don't have an answer for that, so I don't know if anybody else out there does.
Let me ask Sam, you're watching, what Linux do you use? I like Linux Mint.
Okay. You guys touched on something, and I couldn't
go ahead.
find my rant shades. Okay?
Okay.
You guys need to learn how to use Play on Linux and get used to that debug.
It doesn't work.
Bull malarkey.
Let me say two things. Now, Matthew, you're more centered here.
I got tons of Steam games running.
I'm not talking
Steam
games.
games running.
I believe you. Time out. Time out. Here, have some water. Here you go. All right. Sorry, I'm out of coffee. Sorry.
I have some. Would you here? Have a couple of Linux.
Oh, thank you. No, I tried Matthew's battery and Sam. I tried hooking up my Microsoft Zune. Did not work. My Apple iPad Mini, it did not work. Okay, it does not work for me. Maybe that's
then
how I should.
Buy an Android.
I have an Android tablet, but I've had requests for the last 50,000 years. Don't forget us Apple users. That's why I did it. But it works. It works. So the point is, I cannot use Wine or Play on Linux for me. But here's another thing I want to say. Yeah, Spatcha keeps putting up the sign. This is a fundraiser for Matt's wife. If you just joined us, please go to mattstechhub.com. for Allison's extensive medical thing going on. Yes, and there's the giveaway for Crisis 2. Matt, you may have come across this question also, but I keep getting comments where the Linux kernel is better than Mac and Windows and all that. I have no doubt that the Linux kernel is an amazing piece of human engineering. It works. What about the rest of the Linux-based operating system? The kernel might work just dandy, but once you start installing your favorite apps, like Kden Live that we briefly talked about, and sometimes it doesn't work, that's one of the reasons I have Windows as a backup, just in case. I know I'm not the only one. But to answer those questions, why I still use Windows sometimes, and it's sometimes, but to be fair, right now, because of the maintenance, spyware scanning and antivirus, I use Linux over 60% of the time now. Windows 8.1 is my backup. But in cases where, say, Kden Live just doesn't work or it crashes and I don't feel like searching for a solution, I'll go to Windows 8. But to answer those questions why I have to use Windows, I have to use it sometimes, but not as much as I used to, which is a credit to the Linux community. But right now it cannot completely replace my Windows partition. Matt, how do you see it?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to personal preference, and I'm reading the comments coming in. Tom Procus wants to know why Linux distros are broken all the time. I think
sometimes.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to personal preference. Saying that the Linux kernel is better than the other platforms, I don't know. It's somewhat unique. Well, it's really similar to Unix, but the way that it's developed is certainly unique. And the problem that I have with Linux in general, though. Linux is great. I like the community and the things that we can do with the software, but the problem with Linux comparing it to other platforms is it's very monolithic, and that makes it a little bit more prone to breakages. If you look at how the Apple operating system is designed, on the code level, it has one small monolithic kernel on the bottom that runs the base system, and then everything else is being ran inside of a separate microkernel, so there's redundancy there. There's a microkernel for networking, there's another microkernel for graphics, and then they tie all this together through the system, through the user space. And the benefit of that is if one leg of that system goes down, it can recover right away, and without the entire system going down, are you having a kernel panic? That's the benefit of having a modular system. Linux is very monolithic. A lot of you, you've probably seen this yourself. You pull out one wrong library and 5 programs stop working.
Yeah.
That's because it's monolithic and they're all sharing a common core, and that makes it more prone to breakages. But it's also a lot easier to develop for because of that.
Right.
So, it depends on where you want. It depends on what.
Yeah.
If you want a platform that's easy to develop, easy to tweak out, easy to customize, well, being monolithic is a good thing. It really makes development more easy. But from a stability standpoint, it's kind of the wrong way to go. But Linux as a whole, because there's so many people constantly involved with it, it still manages to be equally stable as a lot of other platforms. So that's quite an accomplishment that a small group of people and one Linux kernel by itself can work with so many different diverse pieces of hardware. It's quite an accomplishment.
Well, Spatry, one time we were doing this news and nonsense about Windows, and when he had, I think the last Windows you were using was Windows 7 at some point, and Spatry says, to install the updates and wash, rinse and repeat over and over. I sympathize. I sympathize with the maintenance and the updates. It's much, much easier in my Linux Mint or Ubuntu or whatever I'm using. It's much, much faster. And that's why I use Linux mostly, if not completely. But I will say this, as a Windows user, I think some Linux distributions that are high quality, I think it's amazing that developers can pull it off to where I would say your best Linux distros are probably, for myself, speaking strictly for myself, are probably 95% complete, meaning 95% close to completely replace my Windows operating system. Now, that being said, for people who are not technologists, people who are not artists, content creators like ourselves, it may not matter. Linux Lite, a Manjaro, a Zorn, Ubuntu may be 100% complete for that specific person because they've gotten much better. But
for me personally, the only thing keeping me on Windows is a lot of the peripherals that I have require Windows software. Like my iPad Air and I got a Sony MP3 player. I have to use Windows software to manage the content on those devices.
Right.
If I didn't own any of these devices that I've acquired over the last 6 years, if I didn't have this stuff and I only had the computer, I'd probably be running Linux because, like you said, with updates, I've been struggling with Windows updates for the last 2 days here.
Really?
With both of my Windows 7 computers. There was 12 updates, and I installed them, and 4 of those 12 updates keep wanting to reinstall themselves. Even though they're already installed, Windows updates doesn't recognize that they're installed, and they just keep going over and over and over.
I had a problem with that once, Matthew. I had to I should jot down all these fixes, both in Windows and Linux, but I think I had to go to the registry, which I don't recommend for a new user. I had to delete something or turn something off. I can't remember, but that's part of the thing that Spatry was saying, this maintenance issue. It's easier in Linux. It's that simple. That's why I use Linux mainly now, because I've gotten used to it. I did some updates today. It had to install security patches, which is normal for anything. There were maybe like a half a dozen patches that took over an hour. That's a lot. That's a long time, but that's how that works. That's what's normal for Windows. Now, getting back to the things that don't work for me in Linux, I'm not blaming Linux. The Zune wasn't designed for Linux, and neither was the Apple iPad Mini. I can live with that, and that's fine. But I continue to be amazed at the progression of user-friendly Linux distributions. My first one was Ubuntu back 2005, 2006. From there, I went to Linux Mint, Zorn, which is great. Of course, Manjaro Linux, which is based off of Arch. If you read the documentation, that might be something to look at. I've tested a few of them, a few of Manjaro based. I got to tell you, the speed of Manjaro, I've never seen anything like it. So my hat's off to you guys. Yeah.
I got something to interject into this because you were talking about how long and painful a Windows update is.
Yeah.
And that's something. Now, Mom's laptop has Windows 7 on it.
Okay.
But she never boots into it. Okay, we only have it there in case it's absolutely needed. And I actually had to shut off automatic updates on it because I went like 3 months without booting into the Windows side of things, and I figured I'd let it update. Big mistake. 2 hours of time that I couldn't even use the machine, waiting for it to shut down and then reboot so I could go in and get the work done. So now I have the automatic update shut off entirely, and I won't even let it update. You know, because if I need to get into Windows to do something,
yes. I prefer the manual updates myself or just let it do the automatic one like at 2 a.m. in the morning. So,
if you have a fast internet connection,
Spatchy, check your mic, please.
yeah, if you have a fast internet connection on any Linux distribution, Manjaro, Debian, whatever, if you have a fast internet connection, you have to download a gigabyte of updates. You can still get that update done in less than a half hour. And if you have a really fast internet connection, it'll get done in 10 minutes.
Now, Sam says his family is keeping him on Windows. Why is that? Another frequently asked question somewhat is, the person wants to try Linux, do they have to give up their Windows? Absolutely not. A lot of friendly Linux distributions have what I call the newbie installer or the automatic installer. Spatchery, Matt, do all of the Manjaro base now have the option to do the automatic install and not the custom partitioning? Is that correct?
You can. They're working on Calamari right now, which is going to improve that. But I'll tell you what, kids, if you guys really want to learn Linux, you know, you could do what I did. I actually put in a Linux distro in a live CD mode, found out everything worked, and I wiped the hard drive and installed Linux on it, and I forced myself to stick with it. I forced myself to learn it before I decided to dual boot Windows alongside. I wanted to learn Linux, and if Linux didn't have a piece of software I needed, I went without. I really, really wanted to learn Linux, and so that's how I pushed myself to learn. Some people aren't going to take that extreme measure, I realize, but that's what I did. That's how I prepared to start my own YouTube channel, Cup of Linux, you know, because I wanted to sit down and, you know, take the time to share things that I learned that I thought were difficult for me to find out.
Yeah.
So I decided to make videos on that to make things easier for people.
Yeah.
You know, because we have by giving it away. We share that knowledge openly and freely.
Yes.
But you know, that's how I did it, but that's not for everybody. Some people are going to have software they can't live without, in which case you're going to need to dual boot.
Yeah.
You know, but then if you get like me and you really love Linux, but you also love your Windows software, you will learn Play on Linux. And I will be having a video coming up on Play on Linux on how to use the debugger. I'm going to get advanced in Play on Linux coming up. And I also have to get my Compiz Confusion series out.
Yeah, I have tried Play on Linux before. I mean, as far as installing it seems easy. It's just that for myself, the specific stuff I wanted to run just does not work. Not that Play on Linux does not work, but some of the stuff I wanted to use, it did not work. Let me ask real quick, Ben and Sam, who are watching, what do you guys think of Windows 8.1? Spatch Regal.
I think
I agree with battery.
Yeah, she agrees with me.
Oh boy.
I think if you have a tablet device, it's actually not too bad.
Okay.
The problem
Fair.
The problem is Microsoft is trying to go after this one-size-fits-all approach, and in my opinion, that just doesn't work. You know, because 8.1 on a tablet, good experience. 8.1 on the desktop, crap.
Ben likes Windows 7. Okay, fine.
When you look at Windows 10, it's the other way around. Windows 10, they're trying to fix the desktop problem. So Windows 10 is giving you a good desktop experiment.
Holy crap, Ben, dual
But it's
boost
messing up
Gen 2? Oh my god.
No, Sam is breathing too heavily into the microphone.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't go in your nose.
you don't snort it. You have the white stuff. Yes, as a reminder, please, if you're joining us late, this is a combination fundraiser, I guess at this point, news and nonsense sort of show. Donate to Matt and Allison, his wife's ongoing medical bills going on. Please go to mattstechhub.com. There is a donation link. If you missed this, you can go back. It'll be automatically uploaded on YouTube, and I'm sure if you have any questions, you can just message Matthew, and he'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Let me just say that I know there are I'm reading your Ben says, I hate Windows 8. Man, Windows 8 gets no love. You know, when I first looked at Windows 8, I thought it was cool. You want to know why? Because all you Linux users could not say it's the same old, same old. It wasn't. But I said, all Microsoft has to do is put the Windows Start menu and you have a winner. But no, they didn't listen to me. And guess what? They skipped Windows 9 and go to Windows 10. Gee, I wonder why.
Do you know why they skipped Windows 9?
Go ahead.
7, because 7, 8, 9.
Yep. The real story about that is bad code, because
yes,
the prefix in the software APIs back in Windows 95 and 98, the developers are lazy and just put Windows 9 whatever, because the APIs only look at the first digit.
Yeah.
So in Windows 9, they were afraid that the software would mistakenly think it was Windows 95 or 98 and get stupid.
What?
At least that's what I've heard.
Okay.
That was actually posted on Twitter by a Microsoft developer, so I'm pretty sure it's probably true.
All right. Well, let me say this real quick. I think Microsoft realized that they messed up with the implementation of Windows 8, and 8.1 is a little better. I got to tell you, I've had no blue screens in Windows 8 or 8.1. Everything works the way it should. It's faster than I thought it would be, and gaming runs terrific. So I'll give them credit where credit is due. I still need, well, now they know they needed a start menu, because I think the transition for many people from Windows 7 to Windows 8, I think that shock was just too much, and they couldn't quite get used to it. There was nothing wrong with Windows 8 or 8.1 technically. Visually, I think, is where people went, what the crap is this? I think that's a fair statement, but I think Windows 10 will be a winner. That's my opinion. Okay, yeah, so once again, if you are joining us, please go to Matt's Tech Hub. This is yes, he's saying, I think Windows 10 will be amazing. I think so, Sam. Okay, please go to Matt's Tech Hub for the donation link to help out Allison's ongoing medical treatments. It's almost 9 o'clock, but we could stay on a little bit longer if you guys want to. I purposely made no plans for this evening.
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
So you
Any other? Are you looking at the comments, Patrick? I closed out the screen by accident, but if we have any more tech questions,
not right now because I'm not right now because I'm making sure that Matthew has the prize so he can award it. Don't forget, guys, the highest bidder, the highest donator will win a digital Steam key for Crisis 2. And you can either add that game to your library or give it to your friend. It's a Steam key. And just open up Steam and import your key, and then you've got a game in your library. So I'm just making sure that he has that.
Shadow 7, I just caught a quick comment here. He updated his mom's Windows 8 today, took all day. 846 megabytes is about 3 hours of downloads. Well, I don't think the download takes, at least not for me. It's the installing and rebooting, like Spatry says, watch, rinse, and repeat. That seems an outdated way of doing it. I get it. I don't like it, but all I can say is Windows 8.1 works the way it should, and I mean everything works. But the maintenance, yeah, I don't care for the washing machine, yeah. So, let's see, what other questions do I get? Oh, which is better for beginners? Ubuntu, Linux Mint, and so on and so forth. Look at our respective channels, mine, Spatry's, Matthew Moore's. I think if you are completely new, and sometimes I'll post, something for dummies. I mean dummies, someone who needs help. I say that with all friendship and respect that I can give you. But if you are completely new, a dummy as it were, maybe Zorn, because it looks familiar. And if it looks familiar, maybe you won't jump off the ship so soon. From there, branch out into Linux Mint, Ubuntu, and then maybe some of the rolling distros like Manjaro or some other runs, but it's not that difficult. Basically, I will just about recommend anything that's stable, anything that has an automatic installer. Custom partitioning, I don't recommend. It's not that it's hard, but it may be easy to make a mistake, and then you mess something up, and then you'll be lost. So that being said, if it has an automatic partition installer, all the Ubuntu's based, I believe they do. I think Manjaro, I think all of them has. Try one of those. You don't have to give up Windows. I have not. I think, in fact, I have only one machine where it's an old machine, a ThinkPad R40, less than a gig of RAM, where I completely replaced Windows XP. If you are using XP, then that's no good. I'm going to send you a virus. Either me or Spatry will, but no. Don't use Windows XP. Drop it. Unless you don't plan on going on the internet, then go ahead. But you really should stop using it. It's no good. But you do not have to give up your Windows, and check out Zorn, Ubuntu, Linux Mint if you are completely starting off. Sam says his mom's computer is stuck with XP. Sam, that's not good. That is no good. So, cybercrime, cyber theft, it's 24/7. So, but that's my opinion. So, anyway, let's see, what else do I have here? It's 9 o'clock, but let's keep this rolling a few more minutes if you guys don't mind. Matthew, on the ongoing medical thing, anything else to add?
I think we've gone over just about all of it.
I think so.
Okay. Once again,
I hope your email has been lighting up there, Matthew. I hope people have been sending in donations and everything. I know every time a donation comes in for Distro Hunt or a Cup of Linux, it always sends me an email letting me know when, anytime a payment goes into the account, I always get an email. So I hope your email is lighting up well today, and you have somebody who's made a nice donation who will get that copy. Matthew has the Steam key, so he'll just email that out to tonight's winner, and he will be the one making the announcement as to who won. So whenever we're ready to end